Hello, this is Brendan Acebo, Associate at Large of the Wad Fam Chalk Pod. Because of the intensity of a few scenes in today's episode, we don't recommend it for children under 8 years old. And as always, we hope that parents and kids are listening together as a family. I hope you enjoy today's program.
Hi, this is Nathan. Welcome to the Wad Fam Chalk Pod.
Oh, hi there. Welcome to the pod. I'm Dylan James Weaver, but most folks around here just call me Dylan. Why don't you get the whole family together and join us for another exciting episode of the Wad Fam Chalk Pod?
Oh, what did I see? What's the name of the actor that plays Wooten?
Just Harnell.
He's in Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, for some reason I was looking through the Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs IMDb and I saw him and I was like, what?
He's in a ton of stuff. Him and
Especially
Corey Barton
yeah.
are just like in cartoons all over the place. He's notably the voice of The Rock in Big Mouth.
Yeah, that's so uncomfortable.
I love it so much. Hello and welcome to the Wad Fam Chalk Pod. I'm Dylan Weaver.
And I'm Andrew Sabo.
And we're back after a surprise week off that I definitely very cleanly edited into the previous episode, and nobody knew that was even edited in.
Mm-hmm. Completely flew under the radar.
I forgot I had vacation.
Truly the Inspector Gadget of Audacity editing.
And then I was like, you know what? If there's a time to take off, it's after we release a 2-hour episode. I'm sorry, everyone.
No, that drained my soul so much to the fact that when you said that, we need to take another week off, I was like, good, because I don't know if I'm ready to, record again.
That was a monster to record. It was way longer in the recording than when we edited it down to.
Yeah.
It was long.
That was so long.
So you're welcome for getting the abbreviated version, but I'm sorry that the abbreviated version was 2 hours. Remember when we released episodes that were like 30 minutes long? You remember doing that?
Yeah, how did we do that?
I don't know. I mean, I think one of them was like Two Roads, which is like a 10-minute episode of the show. But still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the idea that we released that we regularly released 40-minute episodes that were 40 to 45 minutes long blows my mind.
Yeah. We were very much in the 40 to 50-minute sweet spot for a while, and we have continued to push that envelope. Occasionally stuff drops down.
Mm-hmm.
But last week it went up.
Yeah, last week that really did number to the statistics as far as average runtime is concerned.
Yeah. Well, and and if we keep talking here, this one will keep getting longer.
Yes,
but
exactly.
I do have a feeling that this one. So we're talking about episode 424, Blackgaard's Revenge, Part 1. Mm-hmm. And in typical Part 1 fashion, I think this is going to be a briefer episode.
Yeah.
Because it is a lot of setup. Mm-hmm. And then I have a feeling next week's episode is going to be a lot.
Yeah, well, because the thing is, there's large overarching discussions that I want to have that cover both of them,
right?
And
those will get saved for next week.
Yeah.
So other stuff about this episode: written and directed by Phil Lawler. It first aired October 2nd of 1999, which is to the week 4 years after the final conflict.
Oh wow.
And also, only a year before Novacom began.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was looking at that when we were going back and listening to it, just the albums and stuff. I was like, wow, Virtual Realities came out. But yeah, it's the album before Opportunity Knocks, right?
Yeah, that album's called Big Picture.
Yeah, Big Picture.
Opportunity Knocks is the episode. Yeah, that's kind of crazy. And then cast-wise, we've got a little bit to talk about for once. I feel like it's been a while, but we also haven't jumped forward. First off, this is our first, following all that we had been talking about, this is our Paul Herlinger wit episode. Mm-hmm. Even though we've talked about more Paul Herlinger wit than any other wit, this is the one that's wit came back as a different actor, and this is the only time that Paul Herlinger and Blackgaard interact at all. Regis Blackgaard, Edwin, all the time.
Have we talked about what our favorite wits are yet?
Yes,
We have?
all the time.
Oh, I know we do, but like...
We
Yeah.
even sent out a poll to listeners.
But
about
what
it.
was established as your favorite?
Hurlinger.
Okay,
Like,
continue. Back on...
And yours?
Perlinger, probably.
Right. Yeah, we've talked about this.
Although I will say Housemouth has definitely gained some ground
Yeah.
in this recover.
Yeah. I agree. Sorry, Stoka.
It's okay.
So, other people of note in this episode, we have Walker Edmonston revising his role as Lincoln. Previously, when Jimmy Barclay went back to the Civil War, he played Lincoln. So
Yeah.
he plays it here. And we get a haunting thing of Walker Edmonston transforming into Blackgaard.
Yep. That's not
which is
scary at all.
rough. We also have Will Ryan as a delivery man. We have Christy Nimitz / Connie Zimmett, which we have previously covered as being the voice of Tasha and weirdly having two names. She comes in to do Mabel.
Oh, yeah.
Because we needed...
Mabel.
Yeah,
Computer voice.
right. Because it had been like over 10 years since we had Mabel, and that
Yeah.
actress was not coming back.
Really? I guess... Yeah,
For whatever reason.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, they might not have even asked her. Like, they just had...
Yeah.
Yeah, what? Yeah, it's not like Mabel's some, like, particularly iconic voice that's, like, super specific to the character.
Yeah, that's
She appeared, like, twice in, like, Bite of Applesauce, and now...
Now this.
Yeah, now we have Christy Connie Nimitz Zimmett doing the voice. And then we also have Aubrey Shepherd back in this episode.
Woohoo!
Yeah, but this is not the Danielle Judovitz Aubrey Shepherd that we have talked about in the past.
Mm-mm.
This is the Camilla Bell
Mm-hmm.
As Aubrey Shepherd, who was Aubrey for the first 4 episodes that Aubrey was in.
Yeah.
And she is playing it way more childlike
Mm-hmm.
than what like we later get, especially in like the
Under the Influences.
Under the Influence.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Yeah, she feels like she's like 12, like 13 maybe here. 12.
Maybe even younger.
Really?
She
You
feels-
think even younger?
She feels young in these episodes.
Oh, that's so uncomfortable.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Icky
But
feelings.
like, yeah, she definitely feels young here, whereas then later she's like high schooler.
Yeah.
But you know, Odyssey's got a sliding timeline, and I think really young Aubrey works well. in
Yeah.
this
Oh no,
episode.
no, it's great. And Earl Bowen as Regis Blackgaard.
Right. And so other notes about Camilla Bell, just because we're on it.
Yeah, go for it.
She's an actress. She's been in quite a few movies. None of like super high note. A lot of like B movie stuff. Not really like particularly good or like well renowned movies. She, however, did have like a weird run at like the late 2000s, like of being like a lead character in some like actual movies. She was well, I mean, actual movies with like loose, but like, you know, Hollywood theatrical releases. She was a lead character in the movie Push,
Okay.
which also stars Chris Evans, and was one of the leads in 10,000 BC, which is a Roland Emmerich movie, who we all love unabashedly.
Yes, naturally.
Which I was like, oh, like that's like an actual director, and he like does stuff. And while
Oh,
Push,
she's in A Little Princess. I
don't
love
know-
that movie.
I don't know what that movie is.
That's a
but-
great movie.
Okay. She's also in A Little
she's
Princess.
the main. Yeah, she's the main character in A Little Princess, and it's based on a kid's book, and it's all about this like little orphan girl. And my little sister like absolutely loved it growing up, so I watched it a bunch of times.
Well, there you go. So she's
Interesting.
actually like done some stuff post Aubrey,
Yeah,
but
and that movie has a 97% on Rotten Tomatoes, and deservingly so. It's a visually beautiful movie.
okay, all right, maybe I'm going to watch that. Probably not, but you never know.
Yeah, no. What do we do now? Promo? I think.
Yeah,
promo time.
yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and roll the promo.
Coming next time on the season premiere of Adventures in Odyssey.
Connie, his face. It's stretching. It's changing. No, it can't be.
This is more serious than you realize.
But who is he?
An evil man, a very evil man.
I don't know what to think.
Aubrey's disappeared. Have you seen her?
We don't have much time.
This is getting really spooky.
Win! Get us out of here now!
Hey, let go. What are you doing?
Can't go in there, Whit.
He may also place you in the same kind of danger, Mr. Whitaker.
It's a risk I'll have to take.
Mr. Whitaker!
Join us next time
for the season premiere of Adventures in Odyssey.
What? That was terrifying. That was so scary at the
That
end.
was really good. That is one of the most cinematic trailers we've ever... Like, this one feels like a trailer.
Not a promo, yeah.
The, like, coming next time on the season premiere. I was
Yeah.
like, we've never talked about Odyssey in, like, seasons.
Yeah.
But, like, sure.
No.
Man.
Yeah. With the Blackgaard voice cutting him, I was like, whoa, that got
Yeah.
me.
Well, and also we never get Chris as the voice for promos.
No, never.
So that was really weird. But then, like, the transformation into Blackgaard's voice and the maniacal laugh.
They must have
This was...
taken the promo responsibility back for this one and was like, nope, we're
Right.
putting Blackgaard in this. It's got to be a good.
Well, yeah, and we're also, like, I'd be curious to listen to other promos of this era and see if it kind of holds true. We are in, like, the Al Jansen era of Odyssey. For the first, like, 350 episodes of Odyssey, Chuck Bolte is the executive producer. And then we get, like, 50 episodes with Kurt Brunner, another 50 with Al Jansen. Then Paul McCusker does, like, 5 years of the show. And then we've had Dave Arnold basically ever since. But these episodes are during, like, the Al Jansen era, which I don't think that we've covered any others that, like, fall under his, like, his section of the show.
Yeah.
And so, like, I'd be curious to listen to other promos and know, like, is it just this episode they, like, went full in on because it was the
Season
premiere and also a, like, you know, big episode for the show? Or was this just like or is this something of the era? Because, like, the other thing that's true across, like, Al Jansen episodes are, like, where they start doing the split episodes as well.
Yeah.
Where they do, like, the two 10-minute episodes in one thing. So I guess Two Roads is the other one that we've talked about during his run on the show. But I don't even remember. That didn't.
I don't remember that episode at all.
Yeah.
Looking back on it.
It's one of the Twilight Stones.
Yeah.
But anyways, all that to say, it's a freaking good promo.
No, it's real good. Real spooky.
And Chris turning into Blackgaard is going to haunt my dreams.
Yeah, no, that was not good. That one was like,
Yeah.
The
Walker Edmondson one is creepy, but, like, it feels somewhat natural.
Yeah, it's like, okay, that's what happens. This is just like, nope, nope.
Yeah.
Nope, don't like that. Don't like that one bit.
And I
You
like
stay away from Chris.
I
Mr.
like
Blackgaard.
that this show from the get-go is being like, this is a Blackgaard episode. Like, we're not doing, like, a Waylaid in the Windy City sort of thing where we're, like, hiding it.
Well, that was my big note for this episode, was just that, like, literally you get Blackgaard within, like, the first minute and a half of the show.
And the episode is named after him.
Blackgaard's Revenge, yeah.
Which is the only Blackgaard Saga episode that's named after Blackgaard, though there are some Edwin episodes, or at least one Edwin episode, that is named Blackgaard.
Yeah.
But still, it feels pretty serious.
It does. It really does. And I must say, so, like, before we get into this, so I hadn't I've only listened to this episode like maybe twice in my life, maybe.
Oh, interesting.
I have not listened to it many times because my brother loved it and was terrified by it.
This is one of the Blackgaard episodes I think I've heard more than most, just because of the era in which the album is. Was very much my wheelhouse as far as Odyssey went.
No, I don't know if we've talked about this on the show before, but Brendan got so scared of it that I'm pretty sure my sister had to destroy our copy of the episode.
Oh my word.
Yeah.
That's
so
crazy.
Friend of the podcast, Brendan DeSabo. Big ol' sissy.
Wow.
Just kidding.
Yep. You show him.
I love you, Brendan. You're my brother.
We might even have heard him at the top because he usually does the executive producer drops when we
it's true.
We get ones because this does start off with a Al Jansen warning, which is it's a pretty intense warning, setting up for an intense episode. Like I get it, but also, And
that being said, you just ready to jump into the episode?
Yeah. Well, the one other thing I want to say from the intro is that we get a clip show intro, and I really have missed those.
Yes.
I love that from this era of the show.
I just miss any intro. We have with Blackgaard, we haven't had any intro in like
it's basically
weeks.
Just been and now Adventures in Odyssey or literally nothing.
Yep,
just ominous music.
Yeah, pretty much. And I'm okay with it, but I miss it. I miss the nice clip show. So this episode starts off with Connie and Aubrey in the Imagination Station doing what is it? It's the Gettysburg Address adventure, basically.
Yep.
Right.
And it is.
They're in the Imagination Station. They're talking. Lincoln's given the speech, and then he says the wrong thing. It's
Aubrey and Connie. This is Aubrey's first time in the Imagination Station. She's only been in one episode prior to this, which is the episode in which like her family moves to Odyssey and like is working at the Timothy Center.
Yeah.
And so it's like a fun little thing of like Connie's also been working at the Timothy Center, and so they're kind of taking a break from that and coming in here, and she's getting to experience the Imagination Station for the first time.
Isn't Aubrey's family's backstory like he used to work in an office and like they used to have a lot of money, and then he started working at the Timothy Center and they just like had no money?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct, because that's like the whole thing where like her old neighborhood was like Erica.
Yeah. That's all that.
And then, they live at like a cabin on like the Timothy Center, and Erica lives in Oswald Heights.
Yep.
So Lincoln's given his speech, and it's
that all men are created to serve me.
Yeah, it's the 7 years ago, but then right, all men must be made to serve me.
Boom, and then
as he says that, right, it's Lincoln, Walker Edmonston's Lincoln transforming into Earl Bowen's Dr. Regis Blackgaard.
It is I. Oh, he's so good. He's so good. I'm sad that this is the last, this is our last Blackgaard episodes. Like,
I know.
We're not going to talk about him after this, presumably.
Bid farewell to Regis Blackgaard.
Earl Bowen.
We only get Edwin.
Yep. Oof.
He's fine.
I like him, but not nearly as good of a bad guy.
No, not
even a bad guy really at all.
He is a bad guy.
Yeah.
But he's not a villain.
He's concerning in the sense that I'm pretty sure he has a slave.
Yeah. It's just it's such a good intro to Blackgaard. He's so sinister. It's so just like
he gets transmorgified basically. I've been reading. It's transmogrify is from Calvin and Hobbes. The transmogrifier is the cardboard box that he goes into and then he turns him into something else.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Bad. Coming at me with the deep cut Calvin and Hobbes knowledge.
Yeah,
I need to.
I don't think we've talked about that on the show. That is the other thing with Winnie the Pooh that I have an enormous canonical knowledge of.
Yeah, I mean, I always liked Calvin and Hobbes, but that was not like a inside and out sort of thing.
Every single book. I don't have the collection of all of them. I have every single book he's released.
Rock on. All right.
It's so redundant. I have so many of the same comics across like several books, but it's whatever.
What else are you gonna do?
I don't know. I was young and I had enough money, you know.
And so then Blackgaard yells to open fire.
Yeah. Violence.
And, yeah. Aubrey and Connie get separated. Aubrey falls down, and Blackgaard helps her up and is like, you know, I'm not that bad. Like, of a good guy. And then Connie comes in and is like, what are you doing? And let's go. So they start running, and Blackgaard goes, run, chickens. Run.
Run, chickens.
Run. Yeah, that's a better line read. Well done, Andrew.
These are so bad. It's like, why would he call them chickens?
Because they're running away.
I guess so, but like, what an interesting... It's Odyssey.
Yeah.
I guess that's probably the meanest thing you can call somebody on Odyssey.
Yes.
Other than a non-Christian.
Oof. Yikes. Oh, man.
Yeah, so basically, then... So...
Eugene and Whit pull Connie and Aubrey
yeah.
from the imagination station because an alarm was going off.
Yeah.
And then they kind of fill, like, Aubrey and, well, mostly Connie fill in Eugene and Whit on what happened. Eugene's like, they probably Blackgaard must have planted a virus when he took over Whit's End.
Yeah.
And then they give for Aubrey and the listeners a summary of Blackgaard's history.
Yeah.
That he tried to steal a computer program, burned down Tom's barn, showed up in Chicago, took over Whit's End, died in an underground explosion, and now he's back as a virus.
We heard the screams of demons as he was being escorted to hell.
We didn't.
No, we didn't.
They did us a favor and didn't do that.
Yeah. Thank goodness. We really dodged a bullet there.
Truly. Much like Aubrey and Connie in the imagination station.
Exactly. Just dodging bullets left and right. Yeah, so basically, and then Aubrey's just, like, not convinced. I mean, she's like, well, you know, maybe, I don't know, like, how harmful this could be. But it's really bad. I am thoroughly underwhelmed with how little the people at Wits End seem to watch over Aubrey, considering how young she is, and the fact that, like, how was she even able to get back into the imagination station? If Dr. Blackgaard is in a virus manifesting itself inside of this thing, nobody should be allowed into it. It should be boarded and locked.
But she went back in because the food delivery man distracted Connie.
Yeah.
And she went to go put the sign on to say out of order, and when she touched it,
Blackgaard started talking to her.
Yeah. Yep. There's an easy explanation. Come on. Aubrey's just, like, when they're like, okay, we're going to, like, destroy this virus and, like, try and not destroy the Gettysburg thing along with it. And Aubrey's like, what? You're going to destroy him? But he, like, seemed so fine.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's...
No, because he does really good thing of manipulating children.
Oh, yeah. Child psychologist, Dr. Regis Blackgaard, expert child manipulator.
Uh-oh. Oh, my lord.
Dr. Regis Blackgaard, very creepy.
Very creepy. Very interested in children.
And, yeah, but so is Maxwell.
Yeah, in the worst way. Well, actually, Maxwell turned himself around.
Yeah.
He did the hokey pokey. That's all, folks. This is going to be a Dylan podcast for the rest of the way out.
All right. Andrew is no longer a co-host. It's just me. Everyone loves solo podcasts, right? That's the best thing in the world.
Hey, man, Anthropocene Reviewed.
It's scripted and short. It does not count.
That's fine.
And so, yeah, Connie tries to explain to Aubrey that, like, Blackgaard twists the truth, and then Eugene and Whit go up to, like, work on destroying this program, and Connie's supposed to put a note on the thing, and she's like, oh, Aubrey, come on, let's go, like, go get a poster board and make, like, an out-of-service note. Then this fruit delivery guy arrives, kind of sidelines.
Fruit's not getting any fresher.
Yeah. Connie gets tied up with that, and Aubrey's like, "Oh, I'll go put up the out of order sign." It's been established that this is like after Wits End has closed for the day.
Yeah.
And there's no one there because Connie's like, "Well, why do I have to put up the sign? There's no one even here." And Wits like, "We can't, can't risk anything." So a child goes up to put on the sign. After she volunteers and is like, and you can tell Connie's kind of being overwhelmed, and it's like you get the idea that like she's doing this with some intent.
Yeah. Because she's been the one that's been the least adverse to it this whole time.
Right.
And so we have that going into it in the sense that, so she's not a Christian, obviously.
Right, because we cover her.
Yeah, we covered her coming to Jesus arc.
Which is much later.
So she's our flawed non-Christian character that's allowed to make mistakes that we can drive the plot forward with. So,
hey, dude, we have Christian characters make mistakes.
Oh yeah,
Did
all
you
the
meet
time.
Lucy?
Yeah, that's fair.
Or Wit.
Wit. God himself.
Connie in every episode.
Yeah.
This isn't
Connie.
It's an okay Connie episode.
It's a fine Connie episode. All she does is take care of the fruit. Like, I mean, it's technically her fault, but like, I would have done the same thing, so I can't really blame her. I can't be that upset. She's getting paid, right? That's her job. Like, she's got to put away the fruit.
But there's also no rush for Aubrey to put the sign on.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like, Aubrey could just stick with Connie with the fruit, and then they could go up and do it together. It's fine. Aubrey's being manipulative, and it's effective.
It's super effective.
And so, when she goes to touch the machine, Blackgaard starts it up, and he talks her into coming in.
Yeah.
And she's like, you're just a computer program. And he says, but I'm a computer program that knows the truth.
Yep.
What is that saying? The truth shall set you free? I want to set you free, Aubrey.
I really don't want to try and read into what this episode is saying that much this episode, but it is... So, let me see if actually thematically if it comes up as that. So it says the theme is death, God's protection, and deception. Yeah. Which I was thinking that this was kind of like a direct parallel to like the Adam and Eve, like the fall in the garden situation. And I don't know if that was intentional or not.
I was thinking the same thing. So like the whole like, I know the truth.
Yeah.
The truth will set you free is very like bite of
the
apple.
Knowledge of good and evil.
Bite of applesauce was another episode that literally did that. It's the first of like the Blackgaard Chronicles.
Yeah.
And this is the end of the Blackgaard Chronicles, and we're kind of doing Genesis 2 again.
Yeah.
The thing that like, in addition to the Genesis 2, it also feels very much, and this comes in later, but it also, I think, comes up at this point of like a Jesus's temptation in the desert in Matthew, of this like
isolation situation.
Right. This like they're stuck together, and it's the temptation. It comes up like it really jumped out to me later when he offers to give her the world.
Yep.
Which is very much that. But even this, like, the truth will set you free is something that Jesus said.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Blackgaard is now like manipulating it much in the same way that we see Satan using like Old Testament stuff in his temptation of Jesus. We are getting Blackgaard quoting Jesus in trying to tempt.
There's one of my
Aubrey.
favorite albums. There's a line in one of the songs, and because Satan is like a main character on the album, and it says, "If you're scared, go to." They say, "If you're scared, go to church," but he knows the Bible too, and yeah, it's man, let me tell you about the fact that the devil really does love to use the Bible to get people to do the wrong thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's probably his most effective tool, actually, at least in America.
Yeah. Yeah.
And laziness.
And so, right. So it is this Genesis 2 thing of like, you know, we're gonna like, I'm gonna give you like the knowledge of good and evil. But then there's also a level that's like, and I'm also doing this like pulling from scripture to do it. And the offhanded way he's like, what's that saying? Like he knows it, but like he's not doing like he's not quoting scripture to her. He's like pretending like,
he's
this
quoting
is just
thematically
right.
scripture.
You know. And so it's like, yeah, it's because it wouldn't mean anything for him to quote the scripture to her.
Yeah, she's not Christian.
But he does get to pull from that in kind of like
this is familiar for you, so
right.
It's gonna have enough things, but I'm not showing my heart, my hand.
Yeah,
you know that this is what I'm doing.
Yeah,
well, he kind of. And then, but, you know.
Oh man, and then the really creepy. Come take your step into a bigger world.
Yeah.
Welcome, Aubrey. Welcome to your new life.
Yeah.
Like these episodes, if they weren't set in reality, could very easily be Twilight Zone episodes.
Yeah. Oh no, the virtual reality and everything. Yeah, no.
And maybe show headcanon, some Twilight Zone stuff in Odyssey is maybe inspired by this. Like the idea that like Connie experiences this whole thing and then writes like a kid's radio play because of that.
Interesting.
Like I don't quite know how that lines up.
The only way that this can be confirmed or denied is with official input from the writers at Adventures in Odyssey. So
yeah, come on the show, Phil Waller.
Or just email us, tweet at us, anything really. Just give me a thumbs up emoji in any form on any platform. If that's correct.
Yeah. So
stay away from my Tumblr. I don't know what that looks like anymore. I haven't been on Tumblr since 9th grade.
Oh, wow. Yeah, do not look for Andrew's Tumblr, Chalk Squad. That seems like a dangerous place to go.
I think it's mostly just me writing when I'm sad. I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
Interesting.
Anyway.
So then Blackgaard offers his whole point of view. He's like, I didn't burn down Mr. Riley's barn. That was a thug named Richard Maxwell, and afterwards he burnt down my business.
Yep.
Which was a direct competition with Wits End.
Yep.
And, you know, it's only because of me that Maxwell went to prison.
Even though it wasn't. He turned himself in, right?
Yeah, but it also was like, it's that thing of like, Maxwell wouldn't have been sent to prison if Blackgaard wasn't around because he wouldn't have committed these crimes without
that's
like
fair.
there's
yeah,
like
yeah.
that
There's that side
thing,
of it too.
and then it's like the trying to steal the computer in Chicago, and he's like, no, I was working for the government. You know, Whitaker was the one under suspicion. And you know, did you take over Wits End? He's like, well, no, like I legally acquired it. You can look that up if you'd like. It's public record.
Yeah,
I was running for mayor. You know, I didn't try to take over Odyssey.
People wanted to vote for me.
Right. It is that manipulation of the truth is like Blackgaard's thing, and he does it really well, and Aubrey is so vulnerable.
Well, the thing that what Blackgaard does is that he latches on to anybody's smallest inkling of wanting to believe him and then just does whatever it takes to get them to make the other, like, 70%.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And he does a really, really good job of it in the absolute worst way, but it's very interesting. And the thing that I kind of like about it in the sense that it's frustrating, but it's also good, kind of the fact that Aubrey's reserved anger towards the people of like Wits End kind of trying to shelter her and keeping her from something.
Yep.
Whereas he's willing to, like, you know, open your mind, you know, Doctor Strange style.
And it's also a thing of, like, we've seen and will continue to see with Aubrey's whole arc, this struggle with her not liking the directions her parents have taken her life.
Yeah.
And Blackgaard very quickly kind of and intuitively senses that that's what, like, some of that stuff she's dealing with. And in kind of a, like, you know, your classic, like, roadside psychic way, makes, like, a statement that's vague enough that she then, like, is like, oh, yeah, like, he gets me. And that's
You're probably feeling anxious.
Right.
Something vague like that.
Right.
Like, oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah. Andrew's always anxious, so it makes sense. And
most people are at some point or another.
Yeah. And then he does his, like, in a way that feels not that dissimilar to Maxwell's manipulations on Lucy, where he's, like, talking about, like, how, you know, incredible she is, and, you know, you're a philosopher, a poet, a soul unbound. And she's like, a soul unbound, and he's like, yes, I too am a soul unbound.
Yeah, he's like, yeah,
we you know, our friendship could be great. We could be of one heart, one mind, one person.
Yeah, that's creepy as heck. Nope.
And
that's a child, and there's romance between a child and a computer virus in that implied situation. I'm not comfortable with that.
Yeah. And then you know, I'll give you the world.
Yep. Just Satan. That's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. And
it's just Satan.
And then he's like, I'm going to give you a demonstration of my power. And we leave to Eugene talking to Mabel.
Yep.
Which was
trying
fun,
to shut down the computer.
I like Mabel.
Or not shut down the computer. He's trying to run an antivirus, right?
Right. So yeah, he wrote an antivirus software called, like, Eugene 1.
Yep.
That is supposed to remove Blackgaard without destroying the Gettysburg address program. And then Blackgaard sends a power surge while laughing maniacally. And then Wit's like, okay, we're just going to destroy the whole program. And then Blackgaard uses his portals.
Yeah.
Vortex.
Yeah.
Vortex. And it's not a portal. You know, it's a vortex.
It's a vortex. It's fine, because they used portals in the Imagination Station before, and those aren't bad.
Did they?
I'm sure they have at some point. I'm pretty
no
confident
idea
that they have.
But yeah, his vortex, he's like, you know, Aubrey, we can go anywhere. And she's like, how about, like, New Year's Eve at Times Square? Which is, like, the most, like,
young child idealize it. I would not want to go. If you could get me anywhere, that would be one of the worst places to go.
Yeah.
That sounds so crowded and loud.
But, like, young child in the Midwest, like, going, like, yeah, like, that's where I want to be. And so he takes her there, and she's so excited. And then we'd cut back out, and what they're doing isn't working. They weren't able to destroy the program because he's now moved within the thing, and he's spreading all the way throughout. And Eugene's like, I mean, we can format the hard drive, but I don't want to do that. And Wit's like, yeah, like, let's do it. That's our only option. I've got backups at a secure location. Like, it's going to take a while to rebuild, but, like, we need to purge Blackgaard.
Yeah. So, and that's
Blackgaard's
the thing.
using all of this to be like, look, can't you see, Aubrey? They're trying to destroy me. And what have I ever done wrong? Like, I'm a great person, and these people are out to get me.
Yeah, they're so destructive. Look at Wit. He's so destructive. Yeah. And the interesting thing in this moment is that he's also replying. So Blackgaard is trying to, like, destroy Wit, basically, while Wit's trying to destroy Blackgaard. Like, he's not responding by being like, oh, I'm dying. Like, he doesn't pull, like the Emperor in the Revenge of the Sith, where he's like, I'm too weak. Like, leave me alone. Just let me die.
Or Blackgaard with a virus when he faints on stage.
Yeah, exactly. Blackgaard with a virus when he faints on stage. No, he's like, he's like fighting back. He's like, no, like, I have power in here, and you can't stop me.
Yep.
And Aubrey totally goes with it.
Yep.
Like, she's like, wow, like, they are really trying so hard to destroy you, and all you're trying to do is show me good things.
Yeah. And Wit then goes to, like, do the voice commands with Mabel, and Mabel's voice transforms into Blackgaard's.
Yep. And it's terrifying.
He's like, yeah, and then he's talking to Wit. And Wit's like, you know, I'm going to erase this whole thing. And Blackgaard's like, well, if you do that, you're going to, like, risk Aubrey. And then Aubrey comes in, and Wit's like, is it you? And she's like, yes. And he's like, okay.
Okay, just checking.
I was just making sure you would say yes. That was something that couldn't be programmed.
Yep. That is purely enough. That is enough for me.
But yeah, and so they have this conversation, and and Wit's like, okay, like I guess I can't, and Blackgaard's like, if you want her that better, Whittaker, you're gonna have to come in here personally to get her.
Ugh.
If you have the courage,
Ugh.
that is.
Ugh.
And that is like where, and Wit's like, all right, I'm gonna do it, and that's where the episode ends.
Mm-hmm. This episode ends very abruptly, I will say. I was listening to it on the AIO Club, and I started I got the first 4 minutes into the next episode without me noticing. I was really tired, but
but also because it's the album version, we don't get the Chris outro, and the next episode doesn't start with an intro, and so it would they flow together very nicely, which is typical two-parter. It just means that we don't have as much to talk about this episode as far as the story, because this is a lot of set dressing. It's Blackgaard being evil, but he is essentially, the whole point is that he is throwing down the gauntlet to battle things out with Wit once and for all.
Yeah, and one of the things that I was going to talk about and I'll probably talk about it again next episode, is that basically in all the ways that, one, Wit never really directly confronted Blackgaard after everything went bad, or
right, because he's off in the Middle East when the Blackgaard thing happens, and so this is kind of the chance to be like, okay, we've got a new Wit now, let's have him face off against the main villain for a final thing, because the way we did it before wasn't really what we wanted to do. Yeah. Or
and it's the idea of good versus it is the finale, in the sense that this is the true good versus evil for an innocent girl's soul battle, right?
Yep.
This is not Odyssey, this is not politics, this is not money, this is not Ruku virus, this is Blackgaard's ideals, philosophy, whatever, versus Whittaker's ideals and philosophy, head to head.
Yeah.
Mano-y-mano. It's really good.
Yeah.
It's really good. It's really dramatic, and it hits different, even though it's still Wit, even though it's still Blackgaard, and it's similar to to what we've been covering, because it's so ideology driven,
right,
compared to previously. It hits completely differently.
Yeah, it does feel more in line with Daring Deeds, Sinister Schemes Blackgaard than it does Darkness Before Dawn Blackgaard, which I think is a nice return to form.
Yeah, especially for the presumably last episode with this character.
Right.
Unless for some reason Blackgaard comes back again.
I mean, I can't imagine they would do that.
I don't know how they would.
It feels like this is very much their move of being like, okay, we're doing it. We're doing the thing that we didn't, that we were never really
They're playing the last card in their hand.
Right.
They've done everything else, and now this is it, and this is the last card that they have, and it's a good one, and it's the end.
Yeah.
And, there's no more Blackgaard cards. I don't know what to say. There's no more, but...
Right. Right. Yeah,
of all the characters they could bring back, it wouldn't make a lot of sense, but...
Yeah. Well, and I don't even think,
They've got the Blackgaard books and everything like that. They're expanding the universe in the way that they
can.
Exactly.
And yeah, it doesn't really make sense for Blackgaard to come back. I don't think that would go over well with anyone. And also, I don't know how much current Odyssey listeners have a grasp on Blackgaard.
It depends on the demographic, I think. I think the thing that surprises me a lot is Odyssey's ability to continually get young listeners.
Yeah.
And I think that's, has to do with like the church community, especially where we live and everything. But like my next door neighbors, they're like in, elementary school, if not like preschool, some of them, and they all love Odyssey. They will talk to me about every single episode. They know it all, and I'm like, wow. So these guys, I don't think that they might be an outlier, but they're definitely not alone in the sense that Odyssey is still picking up these episodes, and they like the new episodes more than the old episodes, actually.
Right. Yep, and I've got young cousins who are in a similar boat. And like the same way that like I like, as much as I have an appreciation for old Odyssey, like my like bread and butter Odyssey is like basically from Novacom to album 50.
Yeah.
Like that's the Odyssey I know and like care about.
Yeah, so that's the Odyssey I know really well, and then there's like, I have a couple albums in the very beginning that I had on CD that I listened to a ton.
Yeah.
Like On Thin Ice, I've listened to that an absurd amount of times.
Yeah. And like, right, I don't think that there's any way bringing Blackgaard back makes sense. Especially because like even Edwin has not been in the show since album 46.
Wow, yeah. Did they write him off in album 50?
I don't believe so. But because Earl Bowen's still alive and still does come in to voice characters, but just in this new era of Odyssey, they don't bother to keep this going. And like I take it back. Edwin's in album 50 is his last real appearance, because there's
that's all the tie-up episodes.
Right,
like,
that's all the tie-up. That's like the end. It's like the last time we see the Harlequin, and stuff like
the
that.
Rathbones.
Yeah, and so it makes
The Rathbones made it so long. Mm-hmm. They were in so many episodes as far as like canonically like albums that they would be existing in.
And so it just it doesn't make sense to pull Regis back into things. Like that just, I don't think that I think where the show maybe could get away with like doing a little Maxwell thing, it could never get away with Blackgaard.
No. I think that the show is missing out on investing in prequels.
Oh, interesting. They have done a couple like Young Wit episodes.
Yeah.
And the Young Wit books.
OA Club and stuff.
But yeah.
I think that I genuinely hope that when Odyssey decides to, fade off into the sunset, that they do a reboot of Young Wit stuff and go back and explore that sort of thing, because I feel like that has the best room. And I think really what I want to do is I want Odyssey to invest in establishing continuity between all the eras. That the only new episodes that I'm genuinely very interested in listening to, like, not for the show, are the ones that are like, oh, this is the one where they talk about Tom's will, and this is the one where they talk about Connie's mom dying, and like this is the one where, like stuff that I already know about. Like,
it's funny.
But like just the idea that they could really, what they do is they go back and they kind of re-establish some very strong physical locations and characters. And maybe they've done that I'm not sure of. But of all the new Odyssey that I've listened to, I feel like they haven't put a lot of attention into that in the same way that they, like, we had the Harlequin and we had Hal's Diner and stuff like that.
Yeah. And I just, haven't listened to enough new Odyssey to pass judgment there. But, I think
neither have I, but watch me go.
Right. Anything else you want to hit on from this episode?
No, not really at all.
I'm really excited to talk next week about part 2 of this. You plugging anything?
Yeah, I actually do have something to plug. So, as we've mentioned, Letterboxd is a film review platform that Dylan's on and has talked about. I actually joined it. And so my username is Andrew Sabo. So if you want to follow me on there and hear what I have to say about movies for whatever reason, go for it. It's a lot of fun. I like, yeah. It kind of gamifies watching movies, so I would highly recommend any listeners that like watching movies do it, because they have, pretty much everything on there, and yeah, it's a good time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're going to plug your Letterboxd, I'll bring up I'm DJ Weaver 29 on Letterboxd, and my account that reposts reviews that people leave on redbox.com is Redbox Reviews, also on Letterboxd. So
that makes sense.
And reviews on Redbox on Twitter, which just reposts links to those Letterboxd things. But if you don't have a Letterboxd account, but you do have Twitter and you want to like be aware of those reviews, I don't know. There you can follow reviews on Redbox on Twitter. There is currently no activity on Redbox Reviews Instagram, but that does exist. Don't follow it, I guess. But
I'm on Redbox Reviews right now on Letterboxd, and it's hilarious. Yeah, dude, give it a follow.
All right, there's an endorsement.
There's
folks.
a strong endorsement from me.
And yeah, with all that being said, we will be back next week for episode 425, Blackgaard's Revenge, Part 2.
Bye, guys.
Goodbye.
Wadfam Chalk Pod is a presentation of the Lidditz Podcast Co-op. This show is a fan podcast and has no official affiliation with Adventures in Odyssey or Focus on the Family. As such, the copyright is ours under Creative Commons. Follow the podcast at wadfamchalkpod on Twitter and Instagram, or email us at wadfamchalkpod@gmail.com. Blackguard's Revenge Part 1 is hosted by Dylan Weaver and Andrew Acebo, and edited by Dylan Weaver. And I'm Nathan Haverston, hoping you'll join us again next time for more of the Wadfam Chalk Pod.